Hello, well, welcome back to the channel. Steve here, back on this bathroom fit. So basically what's going on here is taking out the bath, taking out the sink, putting in the walk-in shower tray, and we're going to aqua panel the walls, and then we're going to put a brand new sink in as well. So you can see this is the state of play for day 3. Trade in, trade connected. Bit of bonding across the wall just to make up the difference where the bath was, so we've got like a flatter surface ready for the aqua panel. Stud wall built, I like this, to sort of pan out a little bit it needed, because obviously the tray's a bit shorter than the wall, which is perfect though, because that actually means I can conceal all my pipe work inside it, which I like. Obviously, cup of tea, very important. And that is kind of it. So the state of play is I'm going to grab this board and another just like him. So 80mm OSB. I'm going to stick that, or say stick it, I'm going to screw it to my stud wall, obviously cut around the old pipes, ready to rock and roll, get that in, and then it's going to be basically getting the aqua panel sort of cut, trimmed, and all basically installed. I'll show you how I do that as well. This will be the first job I've ever used stuff on. It looks really straightforward, but I just can't wait to have a go of it because I love trying new stuff. The bit of bonding, I'm just going to PVA that now, so that seals it, so the silicone can actually stick to it and have like a nice surface. And then you'll be prioritising, like I say, getting the aqua panel on this wall first, and then I'll sort of work that wall, and then just see how far I can get really. I'm also very happy because I've got to pick up these. I love new tools. £6.50 each from Screwfix. So this would basically just click onto the panel, and I'll be able to lift it up and manoeuvre them into position. Boom, done, without trying to grab the edges and crush my fingers every time. So well worth the buy. Well, if they work, of course. I should give a review to let you know if that's the case or not. But apart from that, happy days, time to crack on. So, I'm putting the front on the OSB, you can see, coming on nicely. So, obviously, cut around these holes, just measured off the wall from there to the sensors. Same for the bottom, up, done, cut, zipped into place. Now, technically got a live edge here, but it's 18mm, so it doesn't really move that much at all. But a little tip, if you are going to do like joints between these two materials, like I'm going to, chuck in a couple of these little noggins, cut the screws in each one, and what that'll do is, that means now when I put this one on, I know that, where you can see these screws, that's just tie that together nicely, which prevents it, like those two moving independently of each other. Like I say, it's 18mm, it's tough as old boots anyway, but again, over-engineered is better than under-engineered, and it keeps me very happy. So there you go, a little top tip again for you. So there it is, all done. Beautiful. Another little tip for you as well. Two things actually. One is, why did I pick OSB for this wall as opposed to say MDF or whatever, which is a little bit cheaper. The reason is that OSB is a lot more resistant to moisture. So if you ever got water coming into here, which you never will, it will take the punishment a lot better. The other tip is, at every stage, like where I've basically cut the holes through these, I've put clear silicone around that joint. You know, just where you can, just constantly just be waterproofing. Like I say, water's never going to come through there, it's never going to be a problem. But I know it's done. The clear silicone costs nothing, it's in the tube, put it in, done. Helps my mental acuity. That's a big word for the morning, wouldn't it? So that is that done. So what I'll do is I'll go off and have a sandwich, because you know, I'm getting peckish now. And then basically I'll start getting the foot parts of the trim in for the aqua board across the bottom, the one going up into the corner, and then start dry fitting the whole system and then actually silicone it in. But I'll show you that as I come to it. Right, so here we have the basic trim, okay? So this one will sit flush on the shower tray. So first tip is make sure you've peeled back the protective layer. What I've gone ahead and done is 45 mitered all three edges, so you can go see, look, perfect mitre. Lovely job just over there. Straight edges at both ends. So what you do at this point is you're going to put a pencil mark across there, across the tray. And what that's going to allow me to do is, that's on now, just do a quick little one so you can just see. Because I'm going to run a bead of sealant on the tray, okay? So that means I know where not to lip over too much. What you also do with this stuff is, if you can just see inside that profile, can you see that? Okay, so literally this bottom edge here, I'm going to completely fill that with silicone flush. I'll then put some silicone on the tray deck, and then I'm going to do a good sound for it now. Push it in, right? If you get that, squidge it in, and then just run any silicone that's kind of overbled, get rid of that. And then I'm gonna put a few little tacks just to hold it in place. You can see it's already pre-holed. Yeah, there you go, just a couple, just so basically that'll stop it. So I'm gonna put this back panel in. This won't then shift and fly around the place. Once I've secured all 3 pieces in place, I will then put a load of adhesive silicone in this joint here as well. So basically the idea of this stuff is that the aqua panel, I say, will fit inside the profile. So it's siliconed underneath, well joined. You then got a bead of sealant where you sort of wipe it through. The shower tray then gets sat in here, but inside this channel again, you can just see it, this entire lip gets completely filled with silicone. So as the board goes in, there's a sound effect, straight in, done. And obviously what you do at that point is you just sort of zigzag the wall with the adhesive as well. So when you put it in there like that, that's another little sound effect. I've got all the sound effects. So you know the best for you boys. And then that basically sticks to the wall, and that's it, all good and done. So that's those trims fit. So what I'll do is get these cemented into place, tacked into place, and then I'm going to go anywhere. And then I shall tackle doing the first cut on one of the boards. Oh, tell a lie, what am I talking about? And I could put the corner one on. Always put the corner one on as well. Very important, we like those ones. Basically, exactly the same principle. That'll be like a what do you call it? A corner one. So just silicone both joints down both edges. Same as those ones on the floor. The back edge will be completely filled up. Again, straight in the corner. And then that is that done, tacked into place. That is been ready for the first board to be proffered up and put in. Very happy. Right, so these bits are glued in, like I said. I've got the first corner trim done, so you can see how it operates. So it basically goes into the very bottom, which will create that nice little shape for you there, like that. So you can see this board will just recess into this little gap. Now, here's my board. Here's one I prepared earlier. Very nice. Aqua Ice is the cover, in case you were wondering, because why wouldn't you? Because it's lovely. So let's take into account when you're doing these kind of things is, if I had just silicone this straight onto the wall, like the manufacturer kind of said, for like the corner fits, I would sort of balled myself up a little bit. Because what I also need to take into account is the fact I've got holes to put in here, okay? So it's all well and good, me sticking this in the corner, but then if I place this board flat into that bottom and then try to pivot it up, it won't go into place because these will be offset from my holes by the same amount that the board recesses into this gap, which is about 5 mil. So what I'll do is I will get my measurements for these holes, taking into account that my tape will fit flush to this part. I'll measure to the center and I'll add on 5 mil because I know the board is going to recess into that gap by 5 mil. So that is where my actual hole will be cut. So I'll do that for both of those. Then I'll dry fit it. So basically what I'm going to do is take this, try to hit loads of things as I do it, put it onto the edge, like that basically. I'll get it on all the way down. I won't silicone it straight away. Then I'll push that whole thing up into that corner, make sure that the holes align, make sure it sits nicely in the profile at the bottom. Once I'm happy, I will then strip off the protection. I'll run a bead of silicone down here, stick that into this board. I will then put adhesive all over here, as you do. A nice bead down this corner and this corner on this wall, which will facilitate the back end arse gluing of this profile. So basically, does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. So that'll be one piece all glued together. It'll then slot down into the bottom profile, and I'll just like pivot it up, splat onto the wall, job done. Then my next panel will obviously go straight into this way, no bother at all. But yeah, if I'd have kind of glued that in, I'd have scuppered myself a little bit. So it's just like forward thinking goes a long way. Right, what do you think? Is that looking all right? Not looking too bad, is it? So you can see like the bottom trim is now all clipped in, beautiful. Nice joint up against here. Silicone around these joints. Just put this one as well on. So I had to do this one. Again, similar thing, you have to reverse engineer it and think, right, how's it actually gonna fit? So I'll obviously cut this one. Well, tell you what, I put the trim onto this one, got it in place, then I took my measurement, because actually this door frame piddles that way a little bit. Then I went and cut this piece, put this bit of metal onto this one first, siliconed it into the joint, and then push the whole thing onto this one here. Because if I glue silicone this one onto this one first, I'd never be able to get that in with a 5mm overlap, because we're trying to put it into that angle and then trying to push it in. It just ain't gonna happen. Also, fitting this board, I'm not gonna lie, because this is real world stuff and I ain't gonna BS you. I was thinking this stuff is a bit dicey, like, you know, I could not get that. So like I said, that recesses into that gap, okay? So it's got little crevices, you just saw, goes in there. I could not get this board to go into that gap easily. I literally had to take this board off, lie down on this side, put the silicone in the joint, and then I was using a hammer on the back end to kind of wedge it to actually get it knocked onto the panel, because it just wouldn't slide on nicely. And then when I come to do this one, I thought I'd just put this trim up to see how it's fitting and stuff, and it slid straight onto it. Absolutely beautiful, it slid like nobody's business. And what I can only ascertain is that somehow the boards, either in transit or storage, have got a bit of moisture in them. So the ends must have swollen very slightly on this end, which is what made my life a pig trying to get this trim onto here, because they should just slide straight on, easy peasy. And I was doing it thinking, why would they design it so it's so tight to put it on? Like, how am I ever going to get this one to slide into that one without beating the crap out? I don't understand, but I'll persevere because I'm British and I'll make it work. But like I say, what I'm going to have to do with every board now is I'm going to chop 2 centimeters off each side, because obviously I'm going to just assume that they're all the same. I've actually got a little trim outside where I'm cutting. I'll just swing it out the window, so I've got my little setup down there. So I've got a bit of this trim, about that length. And what I'm doing is, I'm putting it onto the edge of the board before I actually cut it, just to see if it goes. If it doesn't, I'm going to take that 2 centimeters off the whole length, then put that trim on it and just slide it up and down to make sure that it's going to fucking run. And then it'll be golden. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's fit, it's beautiful. It is a pig, but I did it. But I was thinking, and this system is still quicker, but that doesn't seem right. Real world applications, okay? So I like this stuff. And I didn't think I was going to after that first corner. So there you go, you live and learn. For some reason, moisture's got in, it's expanded that end joint, and that just made my life a bit of a pig. I wasn't swearing, not a bit of it. A little bit of it. But that's it fine. So that is me done for the day. Now, so what I'm gonna do is clear up, tidy up. I've got a quote to go off and do. But if you like this, if you've got any questions, if you've fit this stuff before and you like it, or you've got any tips and tricks for me, because I like to learn as well, then please just leave me a comment and I should get back to them. If not, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and let's see if we can get this group up to 1,000 people, because I think I'm like 36 away or something. So it's like really excited. So I'm well chuffed, really excited. So thank you very much everyone who's watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.